Thank you, Gary. Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be up here and be part of this evening and introducing people. It's great also to be part of this very vibrant sort of tech ecosystem that we've got going in Worcestershire and the West Midlands. I'm here representing the company Steertight, so we are an equipment manufacturer headquartered in Redditch in Worcestershire, and we make the equipment that a lot of your applications, systems run on. So to be here and be part of this ecosystem and help strengthen it and be part of working with BetaDen in the continuing journey that they are taking these cohort members on is really great. And it's a real honour for us to be involved with BetaDen and the cohort members this evening. So without further ado, I'm delighted to introduce the first of tonight's presenters, Treadcheck. So Treadcheck is a revolutionary new technology which provides an automated and data-driven platform transforming tyre management for heavy goods and public service vehicles. So please join me to welcome Paul Clark from Treadcheck on stage with a round of applause, please.
The UK perhaps has the most stringent compliance regulations in the world. And with compliance comes bureaucracy. And to combat bureaucracy, we use digitalization. Trucks are really just mobile data servers. They do everything these days. In the presentation that I'm about to do, your mobile phones will be full of data if you were sat next to a truck and it was feeding your phone. When was the last time your phone said it was full? Weather's an interesting one on here. If you have 10 trucks in a geographical area and they all turn their windscreen wipers on at the same time, you know it's raining. So you'll be driving home tonight and you'll get behind a 40-ton Arctic going up a steep hill and you won't think, damn truck, get out of the way. You'll think, wow, that can do the weather. But it doesn't do the tread depth. So it does everything else, but it doesn't do the tread depth. And the tread depth is the only thing that's touching the road. It's the only thing that's stopping the truck from moving in and crushing your vehicle or going into a hedge somewhere. So what's the problem with checking tyres with human beings? Well, simply the human being has to find the vehicle first. And vehicles move around. Trucks and buses move around all over the place. So they've got to find it, and it's not as easy as it sounds. And then when they do find the vehicle, they then check the tyres using a manual tread depth gauge. They dip the top of the tyre, but the bottom may be worn out. And then what do they do with that data? They write it down. For example, in London, there are 8,600 red London buses. Each one of those buses in rotation is checked in the early hours of a weekday morning. The technician will go out, he'll dip the top of the tread, he'll write it down, stick it in an Excel spreadsheet and send it into a hub. Really inefficient and increasingly expensive. So they're not actually checked properly. The checks are rudimentary. They're not checked all around, they're only checked in one place. The data definitely isn't managed, and that leads to a lot of wasted tyre tread. Now, I know there's a lot of wasted tyre tread because I started this company in 2008 called Truckfile. It now has over 300,000 HGVs on it and something in the region of 38,000 users. It's the biggest compliance system in the UK. So we looked at some of the data coming off it, and that's where we're looking at what the tyres are and found this huge problem. Now, if you don't manage tyres and replace them when they shouldn't be replaced, you're going to replace them at sort of 3 to 4 millimetres. That means you've left 2 millimetres on the tyre when you've replaced it. So that means that you're losing £40 per tyre. That's over £200 million worth of wasted tyre tread in the UK every year. And with that comes a green ticket as well. So who needs to actually measure these tyres properly? Well, if you purchase a tyre, if you've got a fleet of trucks or buses, you purchase a tyre, you put it on yourself, you look after your tyres. But 60% of the market are on PPK contracts, pence per kilometre. That means that the tyre company has rented the tyre to the haulier or bus operator. And they send out men in vans still to go out and check each particular tyre. it costs Bridgestone something in the region of £3 million a year to actually send a man in a van out to check tyres in this day and age. But the government have cottoned onto this. They've said, oh, hang on a second, perhaps we should be doing something about this, so they introduced earned recognition. Earned recognition is a scheme that the government are putting forward to make sure the HGV and the PSV market actually move to digitalisation. And you'll find that Tesco's and all the rest of the big companies that are on Truckfile as well are actually using this now to brand what they're doing in the marketplace. They're all going digital for compliance. So what's our solution? Well, thanks to BetaDen, we had a thought about sort of 9 months ago, and BetaDen said, oh, that's a good idea. And I said, I've no idea how to do it. And they said, we can help. And it's been great to actually get all your thoughts on a piece of paper, and for somebody who's a mentor to take it all apart again for you, and then you put it back together again. And we thought, well, okay, what can we do about this? So what we really need is a network of mats, which measures the whole circumference of the tyre. And we're just going to roll trucks over it. So if you're going out and checking tyres, you probably do it 6 times a year. So you get very minimal data. If you have a mat somewhere, you could actually roll trucks over it all of the time and get 600 pieces of data. And there's no real competition. If you think about it, the competition really is the guy in the truck using the dippy thing, yeah, which is totally inaccurate, and they write it down and they lose it. And we could actually do it, so many times a year automatically, so we're just going to put it into a system. There are some tyre checking devices that you put a tyre on and it measures one point of the tyre, but they're really expensive and they're in workshops, which is really useful. So you only go in 6 or 7 times a year with your truck to a workshop, so you can only measure it 6 or 7 times a year, and the guy with a dip gauge could do it exactly the same time without spending his 70 grand. The market is quite large. There are about 485,000 trucks in the UK actively on the roads at any one time. There are about 600,000, but some of them will be parked. We know that from talking to the industry, 75,000 of those are on earned recognition. So they're already keyed up and ready to go to digitalise the tyre checking. And we've looked at it, and there are about sort of 15,000 trucks in our sphere that we know of that are early adopters. So we have a market already, and we have a need already in that marketplace. Now, as I said, I've got a track record in this particular industry. I formed RTC, which is a sort of car thing that I did in 2008, and we sold it to an American corporation. So I've actually founded something and exited. I've got Truckfile, which I'm chairman of at the moment. And what I want to do here really is I've just got the T-shirt of those two, and I want to take this thing, Baby Grow, and turn the Baby Grow into a T-shirt. The business model is very simple, and this is what we use for Truckfile, so we're just going to emulate it. We're going to put mats inside distribution depots to start off with. So TNT, DPD, Tesco's, whoever it may be, lots and lots of trucks coming in and out every day, not just belonging to Tesco's or DPD, because they have delivery drivers coming in for trucks as well. So we have a static point where we can put these mats. It's a reoccurring revenue model, simple. So what we do is we say to a haulier, you've got 10 trucks, we're going to charge you at the beginning of the year so much money for those 10 trucks. Cash flow is enormous. We get cash flow really quickly in doing it that way. So they pay in advance for a year. And in Truckfile, we've experienced about 98% retention. Now, why do we get 98% retention? If you're a haulier and we've been holding all your compliance data, you're hardly likely to go anywhere else, are you? Because we've got all your data. You'd have to move all your data out. And if we're doing our job properly, you'll never do that. So we have a 98% retention rate. So as you stack these things up and you have all of these numbers coming in, it actually really looks good as a financial proposition. So we put here that we want to start off with 5 or 6 mats just to try it out. And then we're trying to try and move within 5 years to 25% of the marketplace. You notice from my first slide, we've got 60% of the marketplace on Truckfile already. So 25% is an easily attainable target. So what are we looking for? We're looking for some help with this. I'm getting too old now to do all of this thing myself, so I'm looking for your advice, I'm looking for your help, I'm looking for your expertise. And we want to go, as we were doing with Aston University, we want to try and put all the science together that we've learnt, because we've learnt how to do it. All we need to do now is build a mat in a lab and make sure everything works. Once we've got all that mat working, we will then go out and put 5 prototypes into the marketplace, and the industry will see what we're doing, and the industry will follow us from that point on. So we're looking for about £141,000 over the next 6 to 9 months to put this thing as a reality into the marketplace. If you want to join us on the journey, please come and see me. I'll be outside later on, but thank you.